Derek Sivers had a company ages and ages ago called CD Baby. And when you ordered a CD from the company, they would send you this hilarious email that I have stolen for every business that I've ever worked on. That was like, oh, we have, our CD polishers took your CD off the shelf. And it just made this elaborate story of how the CD was going to get to them. It sounded like Willy Wonka. It was crazy, but everybody loved it. And they would share the email online, this like surprise and delight. There's all of these moments for that. And AI doesn't come up with that on its own. But if you know about that, because you just heard me talk about it and you're Googling it probably as you're listening to this or watching this, now take that. Hey, how do we do that? Maybe you've never heard of surprise and delight before. It's a marketing concept. Now you're learning that. Like, let's use AI for some of these things.
If a marketer is listening to this right now and they're being told by their like manager or CEO, hey, I saw this post. It says we don't need these tools anymore, just use AI. Like, what do you think they need to hear? What would you say to them?
Number one, I understand that. But I'm my own boss currently, and I'm a terrible boss to myself. So I'm always feeling like I'm behind, need to work harder, need to know more, need to produce more. And only recently have I given myself permission not to, and just kind of like enjoy this ride a little bit. But so I get that. I get having a terrible boss. I've had them. I am one. But I would also say that the biggest thing that we want to be able to show them, like if they're saying, hey, you have to adopt AI or you have to do these other things, awesome, but do that with other things you like. It's really good at saying, if you can give it good, again, outputs are inputs. If you can give it really interesting, unique things, hey, what if we did, just chat with it. Hey, what if we tried this? What if I did that? If you work with other humans, ask them. That's better than asking Chatty G or Claude or whoever. I always feel like Claude's like Uncle Claude. He's like an uncle.
Claude's a diva. At least mine is. Mine is sassy as hell.
You get inputs and outputs, right? You can chat with it and be like, what if we tried this? What about this? What about this other thing? And you'll quickly realize it does not know as much as you know about the topics you know about, but you can get some really interesting angles and stuff. Show that to your boss. Hey, I'm trying to adopt this, but instead of just getting this stuff back or trying to make it the most efficient, hey, we fed it our product docs and our this and our that, and we did customer interviews, all correct things. But it's like, what if we took have you ever heard of Derek Sivers had a company ages and ages ago called CD Baby. And when you ordered a CD from the company, they would send you this hilarious email that I have stolen for every business that I've ever worked on. That was like, oh, we have, our CD polishers took your CD off the shelf. And it just made this elaborate story of how the CD was going to get to them and how there's like 90 people with it. It sounded like Willy Wonka. It was crazy. But everybody loved it. And they would reply to the email and they would share the email online and stuff like that. This like surprise and delight. There's all of these moments for that. And AI doesn't come up with that on its own. But if you know about that, because you just heard me talk about it and you're Googling it probably as you're listening to this or watching this, now take that. Hey, how do we do that? Maybe you've never heard of surprise and delight before. It's a marketing concept. Now you're learning that. Like, let's use AI for some of these things, but we have to know the problem is it's going to give us back something. It never goes, I can't do that unless you're out of credits, Claude. And when it gives you it back, you're the one that has to go, yes, 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 no, yes, no, no, no.
How do you know when to trust your taste versus what AI is telling you? Or like how to balance the two?
That's a really good question. I don't think that the old answer was, we'll just split test it. And I don't mean to be crass, but Seth Godin has a great quote that was, if we split test every website feature over time and we just let it keep going with the best thing, like every website would end up being pornography. And I was like, Seth, that's a wild take. Also might be true.
Yeah.
Just look for like what got the most clicks, it gets very reductive after a while. So you can't split test everything. You have to have opinions. But I tend to trust my gut based on pattern recognition of being rewarded for trusting my gut on things. And I have leaned into what I've seen working, which is more, it sounds so trite, but like more human, less contrived, less robotic type of stuff, especially on LinkedIn, places like that. The weird stuff is doing great. The stuff where it's like, there is no way, there's nobody else that sounds like this person. I follow, I think her name's Jillian Richardson, and Jillian's fantastic. I think her headline says it's just content, relax your butthole. So aggressive, and I love it, right? But that's how she writes all the time, and there's no way that anybody wrote that other than her, right? So you feel that connection. And I think sometimes if you're writing for Microsoft, maybe not Unhinged, maybe Microsoft is not Unhinged or whomever, but the more that I've trusted my gut on things and angles and stuff, here's the best thing: do it for yourself. First of all, nobody needs my permission, but if you've been waiting for permission, do the stuff for yourself. If you're a marketer, you have the freedom, the tooling, the technology, whatever, to try everything for yourself first. If you can't do it at work, you can do it for yourself. You can try that weird carousel idea. You can post that weird post. You can make that weird video. You can build that weird website. You can do it all for yourself. You can do it using AI, right? I can use Lovable to spin up a weird website in, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes, something. Probably less if I was good at it. But there's no reason not to. You can try all of these things for yourself, and then you have your own proof point of like, hey, I tried this, it worked. I can now take that to my boss and be like, hey, this weird thing seems to work. Can I lean in more here? I've been fortunate. I think you've probably experienced this too, where you have clients that are like down for a little weird. And then you try it with them and you're like, oh, wow, when I trust my gut, it turns out I do know what people really want. I'm really on to something here. And then you can put that across everything, right? It's like, okay, cool. This becomes an ethos. This becomes like a core value of mine, that this is how I feel about content. This is how I feel about a specific channel. This is how I feel about whatever, our audience, right? I made these bets and it's paid off, and we're going to keep leaning in with that.